Patrick has shown that he cares. He has an infinite amount of compassion in his heart, and he cares about what happens in the community. Lots of folk pay lip service to it. That's not Patrick. Patrick's going to go in and fix it.
Patrick is concerned about people. He's concerned about what other people think of people and how they treat people. He is definitely a community-oriented person, a person that thinks big. I mean big.
He recognizes need when he sees it. He recognizes opportunity when he sees it, and he's also willing to go the next step and try to seize those opportunities or try to address the need.
I'll call it magnetism, right? We're attracted to good. When we see somebody in the community doing good, it's like we're genuinely attracted to that person. Compassion, that he wears it on his sleeve. He wears his heart on his sleeve, so it's very hard. It draws you in as a magnet.
Patrick moves really well in a lot of different circles, and I think it's because he leads with his heart. He's really open and honest about what he's looking for, and people trust him.
It's a scripture, James 1:19, be slow to speak, quick to listen. That's Mr. Patrick. He listens to everybody. If you think he's not listening, he's listening. He's taking it into some kind of account, and then they say, no, there's a project going on. And he needs everybody's help, and he can't do it by himself. And that's what I love about him, that he's not selfish. He don't say, well, I've done this, I've done that. You'll never get him to say that. Like the John Coltrane, all these years, you'll never get him to, he just like, oh man, we had a good year. He just smile. I think he gets the joy out of seeing other people.
He's a good listener, and he hears what's being said. And then he builds on that, and he goes out and says, okay, how do we execute? How do we make this happen? What is it going to take to galvanize our community in a particular way around a particular issue?
When you think about bringing the community together, the seat of High Point, the compassion piece, the things that he want to do to help the community. I remember during COVID, how vital he was in helping us continue to stay open to make sure that our kids and our seniors in the community continue to eat and to be able to still stay up on their books. But Patrick, his heart, I'm telling you, he has a heart of gold.
He sees the needs and the hurts in the community, and a person that loves his city. He's rooted in High Point, right? It's kind of what Growing High Point is organization rooted in the community. He's been rooted in High Point, and his compassion is being shown through these projects.
I could go down the list to Growing High Point, Resilience High Point, the transformation of Washington Street. All of those, Patrick has been at the middle of them, and they've been joint projects that, he doesn't ever do it alone. He's always pulling other people in and creating those partnerships.
He's been present. I think that's the most important thing in High Point for a long time. He truly cares about High Point, and people know that. Because his ego is not way out in front, pushing along. It's about the projects, it's about the people, it's about Washington Street, it's about the John Coltrane Festival. It's not about Patrick.
Patrick means that we do it together. And that's what I'm so appreciative of. It's never a handout, but it's a hand up. And he believes in you. We can have all the greatest ideas in the world, but you have to have someone that believes in you, and that way you do it together.
He wants to make sure that there's buy-in from the community, and he also wants to make sure that we kind of catch that bug too. And he's very good at sharing the bug. And all of a sudden we all look up and we're down this road doing this work.
He wants people to know we are not here to serve others, we are here to be in community with them. And that commitment, I think, is what really defines a lot of the way that Patrick works.
He's the kind of person that routinely doesn't say no. I don't hear Patrick say no a lot. I hear Patrick say, how can we make this happen?
Patrick did not hesitate to us asking about a summer program that would give our kids in the neighborhood the same opportunities, the same exposure, truly equity that everyone else across town was getting. But then what really amazed me is I said, can we do it for free? And he said yes. And so since then, in 2014, our summer camp, we've never had to charge, and it has a lot to do with his heart for the community, a heart for our students, and he see that they're growing, their families are growing.
He's like a brother. that you can go up to and say, can you help me with this? Or can you show me how to get this done? And I can tell you this, I don't think ever Patrick said no. If we asked, can you do this or can we do that? He never said no. And he has a heart for his people.
It gives him a joy to see the kids interact, and over the years how they've grown, and DEUP came aboard, and how they have really like grown in the neighborhood with the children. And it's been a wonderful ride.
He listens to people. He really sees people, which I think is really important. We have a lot of folks on this street that are not often really seen. And he does see people and he cares.
Well, I think he views the notion of a compassionate community just beyond the economics, right? I think the notion that we cannot eat the money, that we cannot eat the paper money. We need food, we need others, we need compassionate people around ourselves, and this supportive network.
He's not a man of many words, but I tell you what, when he puts his mind to something, it happens. The idea he had of having a mobile grocery store. You know, who sits around thinking about having a mobile grocery store but Patrick Harman? And you can see, yes, it's taken some years, but now he's got a mobile grocery store that goes around a different neighborhood with produce. That's huge.
Patrick always has an idea, always has something up his sleeve, and I'm sure he has something right now that I haven't heard about, and I'll talk to him after this event, and he'll be like, oh, by the way, here's something else I'm thinking about. You're always kind of along for the ride with Patrick, and I'm really curious to see what's next.
So I found out about my being the recipient of this prestigious award, Honorees. Dr. Joe Blosser, who nominated me, arranged a meeting with Ivan to see if we could get NCCJ to be more involved in High Point. And this made a lot of sense to me because Resilience High Point's compassion effort has a lot of symmetry with NCCJ's programs. There's a lot of potential to partner with NCCJ to build a culture of belonging and inclusivity amongst our communities. So I'm thankful to Joe and NCCJ for thinking I'm a worthy recipient. I know the list of prior recipients and I'm humbled. Even more so learning about Mae Douglas, my fellow recipient. I have a lot more work to do. But I'm blessed beyond measure. I have an amazing wife, wonderful children who support me in my efforts to build a thriving community. I have bonus children who have worked with me over many years in these endeavors, and I have friends, neighbors, and colleagues who have believed in me as one project has led to another. I think of my parents who instilled in me that doing good, doing right is not about you, but everyone else. My mother showed me that this work is not easy, and if you're going to be in it, you better be in it. No half measures. And my dad always reminds me of the pragmatics of how to get things done. So it might make a better story to say there was a grand plan for the work in High Point, but it wasn't. The work flowed from talking with folks, and one thing's led to another. It's all interconnected, which is what community is about. It's a web of interconnectedness. But it is a fragmented web that we need to rebuild connections to build the kind of community that we all want. It's not about me, it's not about you, it's about all of us. Thanks again to NCCJ for this recognition. I promise I will not let you down.